turn this into something positive and maybe it'll spread.
He's the most positive person on his job.
Now you're cured.
I feel good.
Good morning and welcome to Positively Milwaukee. Even in the darkest of times, you can always find a light. A Milwaukee man discovered that as his mother was in treatment for cancer. He's proving that is still true long after she died. Sean Gallagher shows us how flowers offer hope.
Every Friday, Zach Ulicki heads over to Alpha Flower and Wedding Shop.
For Zach, for Teresa's flowers, a pickup. Thank you.
Thank you.
He picks up 2 bouquets and drives them over to Freidert's Cancer Center.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
To give to patients there.
I hope the weekend goes well for you guys and keep that smile on your face and keep fighting. Yep. For sure.
She is.
It's a tradition that started with this woman, Therese, Zach's mom.
If she wasn't positive in a situation or happy about a situation, she'd make somebody else happy.
But Zach says he wanted to make her happy during Theresa's fight with breast cancer about 5 years ago. So he started raising money to make sure she had flowers for every chemo treatment.
Before the end of the day, we had almost $2,000, and we didn't know what to do with everything, so we had to stop the fundraiser.
For her first treatment, Zach and his brothers were able to buy these 6 bouquets, but Therese couldn't bring herself to keep them. She gave them away to other patients on the ward.
And we didn't even know she was doing it at the first time, so it was really cool that she kind of didn't want so much for herself and wanted to spread it to other people.
Teresa's husband, Chet, says that's just how she was.
She had such a radiant personality. I mean, she'd come into a room and everybody would know she was there without saying a word. So it was wonderful.
And so it became a tradition. For the rest of Teresa's treatment, her boys would buy her 2 bouquets and she would give 1 away.
She never stopped being that way. Even through all of it, she never really changed.
Therese passed away about 2 years after she started giving away her flowers. But the flowers keep coming. Zach started Teresa's Flowers of Hope in 2019.
Since then, we've done many different deliveries throughout Freidert.
What's more impressive is the reach of Teresa's Flowers of Hope. Zach has gotten donations from or made deliveries to almost every state.
She would be so happy, I think. She wouldn't want her name on it, I know that. But I think she'd be really happy, and she would be doing this every day. She'd be taking flowers in there if she could.
It's a way for Chet and Zach to stay close to Therese. And Chet says one of the most rewarding parts is hearing from the patients they deliver to.
You know, we recently got an email from one of the first recipients of flowers. And the biggest thing is that she's now a year cancer-free. And I mean, that's the mission. That was the hope.
And that's really all the Ulickis need to run Teresa's Flowers of Hope forever.
We have a lot of money and we're ready to keep spreading some hope.
So nice. And Zach says all the funds for Teresa's Flowers of Hope are donated. Just like in the beginning when he was trying to get bouquets for his mom. It's so wonderful to see a young man doing good and all the people behind him in full support. We often tell stories of redemption here, of people picking up the pieces and changing their lives. Julia Fellow talked to a Milwaukee businessman using his experience to help others find success.
It is 1996, and Ed Hennings is waiting for a jury to hand down a verdict on a first-degree homicide charge against him.
And I made a promise while I was sitting in there waiting on that jury that if I got another chance, I wouldn't need a third on my goals and my dreams. They kind of showed up.
He was found guilty of a lesser charge, reckless homicide, for shooting and killing someone during a neighborhood dispute.
You served a long time, right?
20 years.
Hennings went into prison at 24 years old and came out at 44. He never forgot that promise he made to himself.
A lot of people where I'm from, they need to see it. They need to see it, and they need to see it more often.
It took a lot of work, starting with his first year on release.
I made $725, and I tried to save every coin that I could, and I walked out of there with $7,500 I had saved up after making minimum wage. So $7,500, I bought an $800 car. Started cutting hair at G's Clippers. He gave me an opportunity.
With $6,700 left, he saw another opportunity.
I took $5,500 and I bought me a shipment of weave.
You only have like a couple $1,000s left.
I bet on me. Within a year, I opened up my own barbershop.
And now, 6 years out of prison, he sold the barbershop and started his own trucking company called Vision Universal Trucking, giving new opportunities to employees like Chiron Williams.
He didn't know me from a can of paint. Being from the same city and going through the same turmoil, for him to come and just pick up others and give them a chance, that's how that helped me.
Hennings has written 2 books about his commitment to the community, and he speaks to men in the Waupun prison he got out of.
Try to lift morale and say, man, look at me. I still got my prison ID in my wallet. I can show you. And some guys have gotten out.
State records show the chances of prisoners reoffending after their release could depend on where they live. In Milwaukee, reincarceration is at more than 43%. Surrounding counties are slightly lower, at 36 to about 40%. The Department of Corrections' most recent numbers, broken down by race, shows black prisoners have a 10% higher chance of reincarceration compared to white prisoners, showing why Hennings' encouragement makes all the difference.
There's no failures, there's quitters.
What an inspiration. Now, if you would like to read more about Hennings' story or purchase any of his books, we have a link for you. All you have to do is head over to tmj4.com. Coming up after the break, biker clubs aren't really known for their soft sides, but we're going to show you how a Milwaukee club is coming together to support children. But first, a sneak peek of how some iconic winter headgear is made. But before we go, don't forget lunch with me every Wednesday at 12:30 on Facebook Live. I chat with somebody who's doing good in the community, who inspires, and is truly positively Milwaukee. I recently talked to Amali Bowling, the co-founder and vice president of Chosen. Now that's an organization supporting foster and adoptive families that can help children have a safe and loving home. So if you would like to chat with amazing people like Amali, tune in with me every Wednesday for Lunch with Carole at 12:30 and leave a question or comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll be back. Welcome back to Positively Milwaukee. Now, you might think of Milwaukee as the beer capital of the world, but our city has a unique history with many different industries. Cassandra McShepard shows us how your favorite winter headgear is made.
Milwaukee used to be one of the largest textile cities in the country. Now we are the last remaining headwear company in Wisconsin, and in the United States there's only a couple of us left. The machines that we run in are date back to the 1940s. They're old, but they work, and they are efficient.
So what about if they break down?
What happens if they break? That's a very good question. In our basement, we have a graveyard of knitting machines that we pull from. When I say we use duct tape, we use duct tape. We've learned over the years what to do. There are no computers here. I draw everything on graph paper.
Wait, you what?
Yeah, there are no computers. All designs are done by me, by hand, on graph paper with a pencil and pen and colored ink. After we do that, we take it and we punch out the needles by hand. And once that's done, we put that on the machine. After the hat is created, we send it down the slide. Put it over the tube. And joke, it's a very state-of-the-art tube and air. So we put the material over and it sucks in the tube, and we bring it out, make sure it's folded in half, and then the next phase is sewing the top of the hat. Pom-poms have been very popular for the past 10 years. Everybody wants their pom-poms on. Sometimes we get orders and they don't want the poms on, and they send them back, can you please put poms on? We ship all over the United States and all over the world. It's fun to see. A lot of people think that, oh, these hats are made in China or Japan, and then I have to explain to people, no, actually we produce for them. It's old school. It's the retro look. Schools, bands, organizations that need hats for fundraising, all different types of hats, all different lettering and designs, and it's really fun to see and create. We get a lot of people wanting that old school look in our hats, and that's what we're known for.
Did you see that? That was Milwaukee Tonight, our show right here on TMJ4. And I like that old school look. It's so fascinating to get a behind the scenes look of how things really are made. Stephen and his team also donate many of those hats as part of their Gift of Warmth program. Honoring children lost to child abuse is an important job taken up by an unexpected bikers group. We talked to them about their memory garden.
And each tree has a plaque in front of it. Those plaques represent children that have been victims that have passed away to child abuse.
These are the faces fighting against child abuse in Milwaukee and all over southeastern Wisconsin.
It hurts to know that we are constantly adding children to this memory garden.
They are the guardians of the children. This is their memory garden in Milwaukee. It's dedicated to preserving the legacy and stories of victims of abuse.
No parent should ever have to bury their child, and we want to see to it that justice is served for each one of these children.
The group advocates on behalf of children who have experienced abuse. They have courtroom liaisons to support children, offer mentorship programs, and host monthly events for kids like camping outings or going to Brewers games. They are currently helping around 100 kids around southeastern Wisconsin.
One of the things that I don't like to see is when somebody says, well, I thought something was happening, but I wasn't sure and I didn't say anything. I want people to speak up for these children ahead of time before it gets to the point that they're in our garden.
The Guardians of the Children say there are ways for you to help. You can find more information by searching the Guardians of the Children on TMJ4.com.
We want these children to go from victims to victors.
And give these kids their childhoods back, making sure they don't have to create any more memorials like these. Absolutely. Now, Guardians of the Children has chapters all over the U.S. and Canada. They truly are bikers who care. We'll be back with the story of a Wisconsin man who just attended one of the world's most important fashion weeks, and he's headed back for more. But first, let's meet our Positively Milwaukee Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Johanna with HAWS, the Humane Animal Welfare Society, and today I'm joined by my Positively Milwaukee friend, Everest. Everest is a 7-year-old Border Collie Lab mix. Unfortunately, she came to us when her owner lost their home and no longer had somewhere they could keep her, so she has lived with families. We're recommending older kids, 16 and older, because she is a little bit sensitive around some people. She's a little bit shyer and she needs people that will respect her space if needed. She does like other dogs, so depending on the dog candidate, she may be able to live with another dog, and she seems really respectful of cats. So Everest has been with us since November of last year, and we would like to give this sweet girl a home. If you are interested in finding out more about Everest or any of the other animals that we have here for adoption, please go to hawspets.org or give us a call at 262-542-8851 to find out who we have here that's Positively Milwaukee.
Welcome back. A Milwaukee man is making a splash on the fashion scene. He took his looks all the way to New York Fashion Week. James Groh talked to him about how clothes make a statement.
You know, I think I'm kind of a fashionable guy. My mom says I look good, but there's a designer in Milwaukee who's taking the fashion game to the next level, and he was even featured at New York Fashion Week.
And I would see something that a character was wearing, and I'd say, I don't like that. I'm gonna draw her something else. And that's initially how I started.
Lawrence Andrew has come a long way from drawing new clothes for characters on TV. He just got back from the Big Apple after being invited to New York Fashion Week. He showed off his brand, Ratchet Luxury.
And I thought to myself, you know what? You earned your spot here. You've done the work. You've been in the game for a very long time. This is your moment. Bask in it. Take it all in. And that's what I did.
His clothes are all athletic leisure.
They're unisex.
But I feel like I could not pull those off.
You could.
I don't
I find a way for you. So for me, ratchet luxury is the celebration of the origin of that culture before it becomes appropriated.
He's referring to breakdancing in the 90s hip-hop aesthetic.
It's my love letter to black culture.
Being at Fashion Week was not just a big deal for him as a designer, but also as a person. He wants to show other queer men of color anything is possible.
And that's why it's important for me to live my best life out loud, so that they can see that they're available to do so as well.
This is more than just fashion for Lawrence.
Everything I do is an expression of myself. Everything's an expression.
His clothes were so popular, he was invited back to another New York Fashion Week show in September. Find his designs at ratchetluxury.myshopify.com.
Wow, congratulations. Now, if you'd like to check out that link, we have it for you at tmj4.com. And good luck to Lawrence for the September fashion show. That would be fun to see more of his great looks. Well, a Racine boy got a very special gift to make up for a terrible tragedy. Uba Ali talked to the young man about why that gift was perfect in every way.
9-year-old Austin Loschek lost everything, including his beloved kitten, to an apartment fire here at the Maples. Community members showed up here at Wadowitz Elementary School with a gift that was perfect in every way.
I'm pretty happy.
Happy with tears of joy in his eyes.
What was the hardest part about the fire for you personally?
My cat.
What do you miss most about Lily?
Honestly, her face.
Austin lost his cat Lily to the fire, and after a tough couple of weeks of heartache, he found a new reason to smile.
So I know that we can't ever replace Lily, but this beautiful little girl's all yours, buddy.
Thank you. I was crying because I didn't think I would get another cat.
Racine Police Department Officer Travis Brady works on the community-oriented policing unit and met Austin and his mother Amanda when he reached out to the families impacted by the fire. The COP unit has been around for 30 years in Racine. The purpose is to build relationships and improve the quality of neighborhoods. Officer Brady connected with Paws Up Rescue, who answered his call for help by waiving adoption fees on this kitten.
It was overwhelming, but at the same time, I was really grateful that the community came through in a time of need.
His mother, Amanda Fish, says it was heartbreaking to tell him Lily did not make it, but she's thankful the community helped her little boy.
He is the most important thing in my life, and so I don't, his happiness is everything to me.
While a name is still in the works for the new pair, a new bond is already forming.
I think that there will be an inseparable bond that he and I will have forever.
He's a great person to do this for me.
Oh, that is so sweet. Brady and his family were not the only ones affected by that apartment fire at the Maples. And if you would like to help those families, you can still do that. We do have a link on our website where you can donate. In like a lion and out like a lamb, or sometimes it's the other way around. We are in the middle of March when you might see signs of springs or just more snow. So we did want to ask you, when is the best time to put away your snowblower?
I would say it's safe in May.
Okay, in May.
Yeah, because there's been snowstorms in April.
This is Wisconsin.
Exactly, exactly right. It was 60 and it snowed the other day.
Certainly not this week. I'm ready for spring though, because I decided not to go with a heavy jacket for today.
I'm Milwaukee born and raised, and it snowed in May when I was a child. So I would say it's not safe to put it away until at least May 1st.
For Wisconsin, I guess when there's no more snow.
Maybe late March, early April.
We're from Minneapolis, so we don't put ours away ever.
In Milwaukee, probably never. I mean, it snows here all the time, doesn't it?
We're not from here.
Yeah, we're from Florida.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I don't own a snowblower.
If you did.
I just moved here from San Antonio, and so it's all foreign to me. But I'll be looking to make a snowblower investment here very soon.
After the second snowfall in March.
I would say maybe April, end of March. You just never know. So, yeah.
Yesterday.
What makes you say that?
Hopefully the snow's all gone for the rest of the season.
Well, don't know about that. I love to hear the culture shock, though, when people who are not from Milwaukee deal with winter, but we do all know Mother Nature can play some tricks on us. Now, if you do have a question you'd like us to ask next week, just go to our Positively Milwaukee Facebook group. We'd love to hear from you. Well, it's the comeback story of the year, and this is our first reason to smile, a very special bird learning to fly again. At the end of last year, now you met this snowy owl. She was found at a Milwaukee area recycling center covered in diesel and oil. She was in bad shape. But the Wisconsin Humane Society's Wildlife Rehab Center took her in, named her Annabelle, and cleaned her all up. And now she is back to her stunning white and gray plumage. She was driven several hours north and released, and now she's going to be able to start her migration to the Arctic Circle to find other snowy owl friends. She's looking good. And we have some more cute animals. Look at these North American otter pups. This is the first litter born at the Milwaukee County Zoo. These 3 little boys and 1 sweet girl were born to parents Shamrock and Malarkey. Mom Shamrock and the babies will stay inside, snuggle together until the pups are a little older. Now, the pups don't have names yet, but we're hoping the zoo staff will give us an update soon. I bet they'll have an Irish ring to their names, judging by their parents. So adorable. Well, Wisconsinites love cheese, and we do know how to make it. The World Championship Cheese Contest was hosted in Madison last weekend. Out of 29 nations, Wisconsin cheesemakers took home a lot of hardware. Pros from America's Dairyland placed in several categories, including cheddar, Colby, Swiss, and many more. And of course, the Wisconsin team won the cheese curd category. No surprise there. Congratulations to everybody who competed. I'm going to be back with my quote of the week. In a democracy, you believe it or not. In a dictatorship, you believe it or else. Our quote this Sunday morning comes from American humorist Evan Esar. He dedicated his 96 years to writing books filled with humorous quips. But as we know, the best humor does have an element of truth, and his quote here takes a new meaning in this day and age as we watch history unfold. We see so many people fighting for the freedom of democracy because they know the alternative is very little freedom at all. I hope you keep those thoughts in mind and fight for what's right, and as always, stay positively Milwaukee.